This is pretty basic instructions on how to remove the rear wheel of a motorcycle and replace it. Kind of a beginner's guide. So first of all, you don't have to worry about breaking the chain. The axle goes through the wheel, and once you pull the axle out, the wheel can drop down and you can just pop the, move the chain off to the side, get the wheel out, and then put it back in when you're ready. So that's the first thing when you're a newbie. Second thing is, and the main reason I'm making this video is for me, when you pull the axle out, the wheel's going to have a whole bunch of little spacers in it. So there's some little spacers in here, and then on the brake side, the brake is riding on the axle on this little spacer. And there's other spacers in here, so before you do anything, you want to take some pictures or shoot some video of exactly where all the spacers are supposed to be, because once you pull that axle out, everything's just going to come out. And you got to make sure you put it back in the right place or things will get squirrely. Spinning the axle a little bit helps. Here's some things hit the floor, so I get the axle halfway out and then just kind of make a note of what has hit the floor. Take a look at the spacers on this side and kind of keep on pulling. I failed to notice that there, unlike on a street bike, this dirt bike has this big chain protector thingy that I've got to remove in order to get the wheel off. Alright, so moving the, I don't even know what this thing is, moving this chain guide out of the way allows the wheel to drop down, and then I can just pop it out and put the new wheel in. This way, if I want to switch between tires, it's just easier to pop the wheel off than it is to take the sand tire off and on every time you want to go in the sand. Alright, I put a little grease on the spacer from the old wheel, put it on the new wheel. Do that on both sides. Your different bikes will have different types of spacers. This one's pretty nice, and it's the same on both sides, so I can't screw it up, but some of them have different sizes on different sides to keep the chain aligned. Alright, here comes the new wheel. Good God, the brake pads need replacing. Put the chain on. This part of the job, you realize it might be good to have an assistant. If you don't have an assistant, you can raise it up and put a block under the wheel, or even put your foot under the wheel to space it out in the right spacing. On the back side, I'm making sure that I'm getting the rotor into the brakes properly. Also making sure that my stupid spacers haven't popped out and gotten sideways on me. Alright, so everything is aligned. Now I just need to lift it up, put the pin through the hole. Got it, okay, yeah. Sometimes the socket wrench, spinning it helps a little bit. On the back side here, I'm just making sure it gets aligned, making sure that this little guy is in the right place. Should be like this. There's a corresponding one on the other side that I'll be putting in. Looks like that. On this one, the high edge goes towards the front of the bike. And there we go, from sand bike to dirt bike. I bought this wheel, I think it was $100 delivered on eBay. So rather than just buy another tire and have to switch tires out over and over, I figure I'll just switch wheels. I hate changing tires more than I hate changing wheels. And then when you're tightening it back up, just make it good and tight. Make sure you've adjusted the chain while you do that. In this case, I'm going to need to bring the wheel back quite a ways by turning the screws to bring the wheel back. Different bikes have different chain adjustment procedures. On a dirt bike, they run looser than they do on a street bike. Alright, sand tire is off, dirt tire is on, and it is too legit to quit. Ready to ride in the dirt. Now, if you were going to take the chain off during this process, if you have a chain with a master link, it's pretty easy. This is a master link, and you just push on it from this side with the screwdriver or something to slide it, and then pop that plate off, and then the chain would break in half here. But you don't want to take the chain all the way off of the front sprocket when you do that, otherwise it's hard to get back on, because most bikes are going to have a cover over the front sprocket, so you'll have to remove the cover and worm it through there or find some other way to get it on. But a master link chain is pretty easy to remove. If you have to use a chain breaker, that's a whole other story.